Hi guys and welcome. You're joining me today for a make on how to make this jumper. Now I simply grabbed one of my other jumpers and this is one of my favourites. So I just turned this inside out to take the pattern off, but I made it different because you can see on this that it's just like got a crew neck on it and it's got drop sleeves on it because it's drop shoulder, which you can see here that the shoulder comes down and then the sleeves come. But what I've done is I've made it a funnel top. As you can see here, it's not a crew neck, it's a funnel top, and this is all one piece. The funnel bit isn't a separate piece. I've made it so that it's all one piece. Now when I was cutting the pattern out, I made it longer and I made it wider. Now I want it an oversized jumper, and you can see it is oversized, and then you can see the length that I've got. Now I've just been and got my tape measure to measure how deep the funnel neck is, and I actually took that up 6.5 inch from the top of the shoulder. Now I measured round my head and that measured 22 inch, so I cut the funnel to 11.5, which, because there's front and back, that gave me 23. But what I didn't take into account was on the right side of this, and you'll see it at the end when I try the finish one, when I try it on at the end, that is the way that I will be wearing it most of the time, and it's where I've done it edgy, so all the seams are on the outside. So the right side of the jumper has got all the raw edges going down every seam. Now if you're going to consider doing something like this, then make this funnel neck bigger, because it fits great around my neck, but it's very tight when I put it on and off around my head, because I haven't allowed enough for getting it on and off because of the type of seams that I've done on the side, but you'll see that later on. So I took it 6.5 inch up and I cut it to 11.5, when in fairness I should have cut it to 13.5, then that would have given me plenty of room for getting it on and off. Now I did make a belt for this jumper, and again I've done it with the fluffy side because all the raw edges on the right side are fluffy, and that's how I wanted it. So this belt I can either wear around the jumper, and I'll put it on the jumper at the end of the video when I show you how I'm going to be wearing the jumper most of the time. But while this is new crisp and there's no lint or anything on it or bobbles, I will wear it probably a couple of times like this before I start wearing it. I actually intended it to be wore. So the belt, I could either, when I've got my jeans on, I could put these through the belt loops on a pair of jeans, tie it, and just have that hanging down, and again that gives me a bit of a different look with the jumper. Or I can just wear it around the jumper and have it hanging down, but that's just a different option that you can wear with a jumper, and I've made it nice and long. And then as I'm doing the sewing, after I've done certain parts of making it up, I go to the iron and I actually press. So where you can see there, where it's all, you've got your raw edges, and this is what's going to make the jumper look edgy, I go to the iron and I press these flat before the top stitch down, and that's on every part of the jumper. So as this is the inside, it is very neat. You can see there the seams, again on that you can see it's very neat because all the raw edges are on the right side of the jumper. Now like I said, I didn't intend this being a reversible jumper, but that's what it's ended up being, so great. From telling you that, it's just going to cut out certain parts of the video, keeping the time down so it's not too lengthy. So let's crack on and get started. How long did I have that going up? Let me just put that there, that there, so that can come. Okay. So to get that the wrong side is going to be coming out on the right side, I need to stitch this with the wrong side of the fabric facing each other, so that when this is stitched it will be pressed back and stitched in place. Right, so first of all we're going to get that 3 inch down, which is going to be that black line there, and then coming in that distance, and then okay, so then I need to come down 5 inch. Make sure I get that together. So that's 5 inch there, and then come in there. And that's just a little tack, and then I need to come down 5 inch again. It's just under that black, and that is there. Okay, I'm going to do exactly the same again. Middle of that white, this moment in time I'm going to do some work on the belt, because then I'm going to go and press these. Now, hold on a minute, shall I do that? Because I'm doing it all raw, aren't I? Yeah. So I'm going to come in at an angle. Because I'm not a fan of belts that are, you know, square edged. And then I'm going to just run down the edge of this. I'm going to keep the edge running down the side of the machine foot on the inside, and that is my guideline. So once again, we get my gauge to do the same seam allowance. Right, so let me get a sleeve there, and then I just need to make sure from the top of there how far that's going to come down, and leave a bit of seam allowance on that. So it's going to be from there. Right, so let me just get this side done. So I'm going to put them together where that pin is. I'm going to try and get these stripes as well, so they're lining up as I'm doing this. Right, get that there. Right, so let me get to the other side and just mark that. Right, so that is halfway down that black stripe. Good thing with working with stripes and checks, it's really easy to monitor your seams and etc. Right, so I'm now going to go to the iron and press all these. Right, so we're going to just top stitch this down. And I'm just going to, where it's turned over, I'm just going to run that down the inside of the machine foot as my guideline. Okay, so I need to do the underarm now. and I'm not measuring this one, I'm going to do it just a little bit narrower because I've measured this to the opening I've got in the top. Right guys, so I'm just going to go and press this, but I'm going to do it off camera. Right, so I'm going to stitch down the inside of that what I've just pressed, which is this. Now I may have to, I don't know how far I can get down it. I may have to just stop halfway and carry on, you know, coming from the other end, but we'll see. Maybe not. Come across to come down the other side. Just got to keep the fabric out of the way as you're doing this. Right, let's go and get these clipped into the bodice. So what I need to do with the sleeves then, right side on the outside, and then with the sleeve, the one that's been stitched 3" with the gaps, this is the one that's going to be coming on the outside, so this is going to the top. I just think that needs to be turned other way. Let me just turn that way so it's inside out, because it's going inside the top. And then the 3" is going to the top of the shoulder, and I'm lining up those two seams and clipping that in place. And I'm going to get the other seam and I'm going to clip that to the bottom seam, and then I need to, just as I'm working round, lining these up. Right, let's get these stitched in place then. I'm going to start at the top on this. And I'm going to keep this the same distance all the way around as I'm stitching it. Stitching right into there, because I'm going to just do that, and then I'm going to come to the other side of that, because it's a bit tricky on there, you know, because doing it the opposite way. And then again, that will be pressed and stitched down. And the same there on that seam. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and press this all open like I've done the other sides. I'm going to finish off by going around the sleeves. So it's just being pressed and just making sure that there's nothing, you can feel underneath if there was something there, so just making sure that it's all nice and flat and making sure that it's flying in place as you're going round it. And then that's, pull the sleeve out and you've got your roughness going round that as well. So I'm just going to trim all the cottons off. In fact, you know what? It could actually be reversible, this top. I might try that on actually when I've done it, because around I've done it, which would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Okay, right, let's get this. I'm going to put an extra layer of stitching round the bottom so it's got twin needle. But I've turned it over so I can see the stitching better, and then I'm going to run the stitching on the outside of the foot. So you can just see there where you've got your twin needle. Okay, let's get this turned over. So I'm going to just come up where this stitching is here, so there's no, you know, so that's not open. Right, let's get this. Now, if you're not comfortable sewing freehand like I do, feel free to, you know, obviously pin your work up if you're going to do something similar. And once again, I'm going to do the twin needle stitching, but on this one I'm just going to come, wait a minute, this one. Okay, let's get that. And again, there you've got your twin needle stitching. So this is the finished jumper, guys. This is the way that I will be wearing it most of the time. And one thing you need to bear in mind is that when you are making an item of clothing that you've got and you love, turn it inside out to take the pattern off it, but bear in mind to get the seam allowance right. If you get that wrong and you've spent a lot of money on your fabric and it doesn't fit, it's going to be a right shame. With this, on the seams themselves, because these weren't the seam allowance, on the original jumper, there was only the overlocking, which was a seam allowance, but because I wanted, you know, I wanted all the seams to be on the right side of the jumper for the edginess. So each side of these is approximately a centimetre. So I had to take that into account when I was cutting the pattern, because if I had to put like a centimetre on each side, and this is on both sides, remember, because it's all got the rawness round the sleeves, on the top, everywhere has got the raw seams on the right side of the jumper. Now, other than the hem and the sleeve, because the hem's about a 2-inch hem, and then on the sleeve that's about 1 inch, you've got to bear that in mind always, seam allowance. Now, when I did the sleeve from the top, I measured 3 inch from the top, so that is stitch 3 inch, and then I measured down 5 inch, 5 inch, 5 inch, so these are all spaced evenly, the gaps in the arm. Now, on the neck, there's no seam on that edge. I've left it raw, and that's how I wanted it again, edginess. Now, when I do, I will make another one of these, because I think sitting out in summer when the sun goes down and it gets cooler, to put a top on like this is going to be so cosy. But I will take into account to make the funnel or the turtleneck bit wider. I love this jumper, it's so comfortable to wear. I've put the belt, like I said, again through the belt loops, and just got my front of my jumper tucked in. I can take that out and just wear it. Still wear the belt if I want to, or let me just take the belt off and actually put it around the jumper, which I initially made it to wear, but I quite like the look, how it looks through the belt loops on a pair of jeans. So let me just get that off, and then if I wanted to, but I do, like I say, I like how I've made the jumper bigger. So that is how I could wear it with the belt, but I prefer the belt on the jeans. So let me just take that off, because I don't think I'll wear that round the jumper like I've just said. I will wear it through belt loops on jeans. I think it's worked out quite edgy. Going to enjoy wearing it, and you can't go wrong with a stripe, can you? You really can't go wrong with a stripe. So thanks for watching, guys. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, because it does help me on YouTube. So take care for now, guys, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.